to do a live on YouTube. So please come on, say hello. I see that there are some of us waiting, and I am so sorry that I am a little bit late. For those of you who have never been here before, I am Joanne Rogers. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Central Alberta, Canada, and I've been designing with you in mind since 1999. And we are going to create tonight. We are going to be making a fun fold that's actually very easy, but looks like it's a lot more difficult. So I'm going to give you all the measurements, and I'll put the measurements into the YouTube live. So if you're catching this on the replay, you'll see it in the description area. Now, if you want to make a comment, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are signed into your YouTube channel. Okay, so make sure you're signed in, and then when you're signed in, you'll be able to chat back and forth. And I'm just going to make sure, yeah, I'm getting them on my computer. So Karen, I am there. So I see, I know that I'm late. Hello, Pam. Hello, Evelyn. Hello, Maggie. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And we are going to play as soon as I can get myself sort of figured out here. I'm just going to send a little email or a little text here right now just to say, I am coming. Let me, there now. Okay, I'm there. Okay, so we are going to be using some paper that I haven't really used much so far, and also a stamp set that I haven't used very much. So I do want to show you, it's going to be the Crane of Fortune stamp set and the Symbols of Fortune, gorgeous, gorgeous specialty paper. So if you subscribe to me on YouTube, that is wonderful. Thank you very much. If you don't, you're going to want to subscribe. So just hit the little sunflower there down at the bottom, and then make sure you turn the bell on. And the bell is going to notify you when I have a new video coming up or when I have a live coming up. And I promise I'm going to get a little bit better at this, and it is going to be just so smooth. So I am going to turn you down, and then we are going to get started. I'm going to show you the card that we're going to be making, and I'm going to get started. So hold on here. Let me turn it around here. And there is my work area. Let me know if that's okay to see, if it's close enough. I'm hoping that it is. So let me go back here so I can see comments. Hello, April. Hello, Val. Oops. Yeah, you don't want to do that very often. Okay, that was my Simply Scored. So the card we're going to make is going to be something like this. Okay, so this one here, I've made another one out of the Symbols of Fortune paper, specialty paper. And what it does, it is a fold that we do a little bit of stamping on. And then when you turn it over, you can do your writing on the inside. And it folds closed so that it will fit in a regular sized envelope. Okay, so that's sort of what we're going towards, but we're going to make something a little bit different. So here's the Crane of Fortune stamp set. So this stamp set is beautiful. And I have not used this flower yet, but it really is probably my favorite in there. So I'm going to see if I can get just a little bit closer in here. So let me know how that works. Okay, that's a little bit better. Hello, Karen. Hello, Liz. And it's just gorgeous. And it's a distinctive one too, so that we get some lights and some darks at the same time that we're stamping. At least I think it's distinctive. They used to put it right on the stamp case, and they don't anymore. So I'm today going to be using the little dragonflies, which I think as well could be used just like little flowers. And we're going to be using this, it's not really a lotus, I don't think. Would you say that's a lotus? Let me know if you think it is. But we're just going to be using those two. And we're not going to put any words on it because I want to use this later, and I'll put a greeting on it later. Okay, so that's what we're going to be using. Now, here's what you need. I'll put all the measurements into the description after we're done, but we need just a regular 5.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock, and I'm using Smoky Slate. And I chose Smoky Slate because we're going to be using the Symbols of Fortune specialty paper, which means that one side of it has all kinds of beautiful gold on it. And then when you turn it over on the other side, you get some beautiful colors. But the gray that's in the one, it's gray, white, and gold, and it is the Smoky Slate. So I went with that one. Now I have already scored this, but you want to score it at 2, score it at 3 1/8, 5 3/8, and 6 1/2. Now, one of the great things about the Simply Scored tool is that it has these little markers, and you can just set them where you need to be. So if you were making 10 cards like this, you could just score all of them and go to town. Okay, so that's all we need for scoring. So that's scored and done. And then here's some other things that we need. So the paper that I chose was this paper with the beautiful flower on it. Now so that's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and we're going to put it onto gold. So we're going to be a little extravagant here, but that's okay because it's going to make a spectacular card. So what you need are 2 pieces of designer paper that are 1 1/2 by 5. And 1 piece of designer paper that is 1 3/4 by 5, so just a little bit bigger. And then whatever, if you wanted to go with a colored cardstock like I did in this card, so I'm going to ask you which one do you like best by the time we are done, then you can pick a color and do it that way, but I'm going with gold. So you need 2 gold or 2 colors that are 1 3/4 by 5 1/4, and you need 1 that is 2 by 5 1/4. Okay, so we're going to start just by gluing these ones down. Now, if you cut these all together, they are going to fit together, but it doesn't look to me like I cut them together. So it's not going to matter all that much. And the reason why, I'm just checking. The reason why is because you're not going to see them right next to each other. Okay, so you don't have to worry if you don't have pieces that are all cut from the same piece of paper like me. So I am going to use my liquid glue and get my holder here and pull it out. Here's my holder, and take off my adhesive dots. Take that, and I'm going to glue everywhere. Oh, looks like I'm running out of glue here. Let me try that other one, see if it's a little bit fuller. Yeah, I think it is. So I always have quite a few of these on hand, the Tombow liquid glue. It's probably the best glue, and you can let me know if you have found anything else that you love more than that. So you're going to glue these all down. Now you want to really try not to get glue outside onto the gold. And if you were really worried about using too much gold, you can always punch something out from the inside here before and know that you need to have that 1/8 inch all the way around, or you can cut it out with your trimmer. For pieces that are this size, I'm not going to worry too much about it, but you want it's slippery. So the gold being foil is shiny and slippery. So when you put liquid glue on it, it has a tendency to sort of squish around a little bit. So just be very careful. And one of the reasons why you want to be careful is if you get glue on foil paper, it's difficult to get off. And it's really difficult to get off. I found that the gold is actually the worst. So I have a little tip, and I think I have it in my videos, about using alcohol on just a little Q-tip to get them off, get the gold adhesive, to get the adhesive off the gold. But what it does on gold is it removes a little bit of the yellow. So you want to be careful and try not to get that. Okay, so now we also need a piece of our basic white, and this piece here is 2 by 5 1/4. So I've got so many measurements written down there, 2 by 5 1/4, and that one we're not going to stamp on yet. And this one here is 5 1/2 by 5 1/4. Now you do want to be careful with this one when we cut it, but we're not so worried now because we're just going to stamp. So we're going to stamp all over the place here, and we're going to use our Smoky Slate, and we're also going to use our basic gray. Okay, so just get those guys open. We're going to move those out of the way so I don't mistakenly stamp on them. I'm going to do our dragonflies in the basic gray because they're a little bit darker and they're a little bit smaller. So because they're smaller and darker, I don't want that to be the entire take over the card. So we're going to pick up the Smoky Slate, and you're stamping everywhere. Okay, so what you do want to, if you're worried about which way things are going, you want to stamp so that your 5.5 is going to be going from left to right. Okay, the 5.25, because it's so close, the 5.25 is going to be up and down, and then you have direction. Okay, so it won't look like direction by the time we're done, but that's what's going to happen. So every time you ink, you want to ink and you want to stamp. So we're just going to create a little bit of a background. And you actually want this to be a lot closer together than you think. And don't worry about going off the edge. We want to go off the edge because that's going to make your paper look just a little bit bigger. So move your hand around all the time. If you're about to put one down and it looks like it's going to be going in the exact same direction, maybe just twist your hand a little bit so that you get a little bit of variety. Oh, and I pressed that one too hard. So try not to do that, but I think we'll be fine. Okay, so that's our Smoky Slate. Now we're going to go in with our dragonflies, and they're small enough that they're going to fill in some of these holes without overlapping the rest of the flowers. So again, you want to stamp off. You want to move your stamp around. You want to try, I'm going to try and get that over there. I don't know if I'm going to get it though. No, I think I should just leave it, and we'll just chalk that one up to experience, because I don't want to go over top, but you do want to really fill this up. So don't think, white space here is not really our friend. So don't try and give yourself any white space. We're just making we're making our own designer paper is what we're doing. So go in and make sure you've got everything sort of filled. I'll go right there too. Okay, maybe one more here. So I know that you're probably saying, ooh, stop, don't do any more. Well, I am going to stop now. Okay, so we are going to cut this now. So you could have cut all your pieces first. Let me just grab my cutter. You could have cut all your pieces first, but this way you're going to create that from left to right look, which is not super important, but it's just a little easier, I think, too. Okay, so again, you want to make sure that you're going to be cutting so that the 5.5 is going to be widthwise on here. So I can just check it here. So I'm at 5.5 and I'm right at the channel. So that's right. So now you're going to cut that a couple different ones. Okay, so you're going to cut 2 of them that are 1 by 5.25. So I'm just going to go, I know this is at 5.5, so I'm going to go down in width. So I'm going to go to 4.5 and I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to go to 3.5 and cut. And then I want 2 that are 1 3/4. Okay, so I know that I need to go 1 first. So I'm going to go down to 3.5, and I need to go 3/4. So that's going to take me 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So I'm just looking at all the quarters and getting them matched up. If you're super good at all your measurements, then just do that right off the top. So 1 3/4, 1 3/4, and 1 3/4, because it was only that left. Did that make sense? Hopefully it did. Okay, so now we are going to do 2 things. We're gonna score and fold, and we're gonna glue. Now I like to glue first while this is still flat. So I'm going to glue these 2 guys here. And then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to glue the other ones on the back. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one's which. The back is the exact same as the front. So let me just grab this again and my liquid glue. And we're going to give them some glue on the back. So what are you guys, oh, and I picked up the old one again. What are you guys thinking about a card like this? How many of you, the fun folds are your favorite cards to make? And how many of you, it's like, oh, that's a little bit of a challenge making fun folds. I'd really rather not do that. And I want to try and see if I can get these going the same way. And I don't think I will. So I'm just going to do this. And again, it doesn't matter. So you're going to put that one in between. There's a 1-inch strip there. Well, a little more than 1 inch. And you can do the same with this one. And then while I'm at it, I am going to glue down my gold one. So this is the front. Where you put the narrow ones, that's the front. So I'm just going to put down my gold. And you'll see that you'll get a perfect match at the top as long as you cut your paper right. Anyway, this guy, I can't seem to pick them up. This guy can go here. And what's great about this particular paper, well, all of them actually, is that the flowers are going in all different directions. Although that one sort of looks like it's going down, doesn't it? Let's try it this way. There, I like that a little bit better. And then this one is going to go in the middle. And again, that one's really going both, all different ways. Okay. Fun folds, see a lot of fun folds. Fun folds in 3D for Karen and Marilyn, Debbie. I love getting fun folds. And there's so many fun folds out there too, right? Where you have all kinds that we can choose from. So now when you turn it over this way so that you know you're going to be going in the same direction. Don't turn it over this way, okay? Now what we could do is we could actually fold it. Let's fold it actually. Let's fold it because that will make it a little bit easier for you. So what you want to do is you're going to fold back on the right-hand side. Give it a crisp edge. Then you're going to fold forward. Okay, so back and forward. So we're making sort of an accordion fold right now. Okay, so that's what we want to do. Did I say that backwards? I think I said that backwards. So you're going to fold away from the middle. Fold away from the middle. And then you're going to fold from the edge in. Does that make sense? So that what you're going to get is something that looks like this. Okay, so it looks a little bit like, what does it look like? Looks like a rectangle with two sort of wings on it. And then that's going to fold in like that. Okay, so you can firm it up, but I'm going to firm it up on the back. Now, you can certainly do that first if you want. You don't have to have glued everything on. It's totally up to you. And now what we're going to do is we're going to glue one here and one there. And I have one blank one that we're going to use. Okay, so we have lots of people that like fun folds. What is your favorite fun fold to make? Is it one that's really, really intricate, or is it one that is maybe a little bit easier? I do have a fun folds class, an online class, and the idea is that some people find fun folds a little bit challenging. And so it's one that really takes some of the mystery away of doing the fun folds and makes it a little bit easier so you have great results. I'll put a link for that too in my in the description. Okay, so that's it for now with gluing. We are just going to take our lotus or whatever it is and we'll put it down here. So this is where you're going to do your message to somebody. And here's the front. Okay, now we need to decorate it a little bit. We're done with our, well, we're probably not done, but we'll see, we'll decide. So to continue on, what I did is I took the stitched rectangles and I took the largest of the longer rectangle and I cut a piece of smoky slate out of that. Okay, so I did pre-cut that. Looks like that's coming apart. And that is your stitched rectangles, and that's a set of dies that everybody wants. And then the other dies that I'm going to use for this card are the Amazing Thanks. And I love this set of dies. This is beautiful. And the what I love about it is that it creates a shadow. So you have thanks that looks a little bit almost like that bubble writing that we did, you know, with big letters that were sort of rounded and bubbly shape. And then you have your thanks. So we're going to make a thanks card again. And I have another one that's going to show you an alternative too, using the amazing. So we're going to use a piece of the gold, and we're also going to use a piece of our white. Now what we want to do, because it's a fairly narrow one, I'm going to take some of our adhesive sheets. And let me just find the package to show you. So these are adhesive sheets. It comes 12 in a package that are this size. And these will last you a long time, but they are great. They are great. If you are someone who doesn't like liquid glue and having to put little dots of glue on, this is what you do want to be using. So I'm going to show you how to put this on. So I've got a piece that's a little bit bigger than my cardstock, and you also don't have to have it the whole way if you don't want to. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut it sort of in the middle. Okay, so there's backing on both sides right now. One seems a little bit shinier than the other, and that's okay. I think I'm going to go this way, and then I'm going to put mine down because my thanks, I just need to get most of it on there, and I'm going to put it down like this because I can use this other little piece for something different. So now there is backing on here, okay? It's in a certain area. Look at that. I thought that was it. So you take the backing off, okay? Put it on your card. You always want to do this first. And I can't tell you how many times I have forgotten to do this first, and I end up having to do the glue thing. And then you don't want to put your thanks for what we're doing on top of that adhesive. You want to turn your cardstock over and put your thanks there. Okay, so I'm going to pull in, well, actually, I'm going to do the same thing to the gold. So I'm going to take, this piece might be good enough, actually. I think it will. So we're going to take that other little piece, and I'm going to try and that one had a little tiny cut in it. Now, if you have a problem getting it open, it's actually fairly easy. I know some people don't have nails. If you don't have nails, take your pick tool, or if you have the Stampin' Pierce, and you just want to try and lift up, okay? You need to remove one. You don't have to remove one side or the other. I was trying to think what I was going to say there, but you do have to remove everything. Now, if it's the big piece, I can do this two ways too. So I've only taken one little bit of the backing off. I'm going to place this down, burnish it a little bit with your finger, and then take off the rest. And that way, it's probably going to be a little bit easier for you, and you may not get any stickiness on yourself. Okay, so we've got that. Got one in gold, one in white. I'm going to put that aside. We are done with that. Okay, so we are going, I'll try and get this on the right spot. I'm going to pull in my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and these right now are at 20% off. So if you don't have one, they really are quite a handy dandy little convenience guy. And many of our dies will fit through the little one, so that you don't have to pull out the big one. So if you are someone who travels in an RV, if you go down to Arizona or something in part of the year, I'll have to wait on that one. It's a great little investment. Okay, so I'm going to put that in. Now, I'm sorry if you see my table move a little bit. And I found that you really only need to go through once with this, but you might depend, every machine is different. So if you need to run through 2 times, this doesn't mean there's anything necessarily wrong with your die. It just means that your machine is just slightly different. So now I'm going to go through from the other side. I'll take a look at it. So how you can tell, take a look at it. And oh, I think I'm okay. Yeah, I'm fine. So it actually came off. But you can, if something's stuck in there, before you remove the plates, take it off. Okay, so put that over there. So I find that these are a little bit harder to get out when it has backing on. So it just wants to really stick in there. So I'm getting all the negative shapes out first. Okay, and it makes it a little bit more strong too. And then here's our gold one. Same thing. There's not nearly as many negative shapes on this one. This one comes out a little bit easier. Okay, I'll get that guy out of there. Whoops. And I'll just throw it across the table. So those are our dies. Now we don't have to worry quite so much here about liquid glue because the glue is already on here. So I'm going to take this thanks off and I'm going to lay it right over top. And I just love that we get that border all the way around it. I'm going to pull my silicone craft sheet in, and this might be the place where you have the most difficult time getting this going. So if you do, just take your pick and sort of pick in. And that's one of the reasons why I also like to not go right to the edge. Just going to lay that down. I find it easier if I lay it down and pull this off. Now this does move a little bit. Oh, just like that. It does go back into shape. I haven't had any where I've ripped yet. I know there's always a first time. I shouldn't tempt fate like that, should I? And then I just go, you know, the way that we read the word. I start on the left, press it down. I'm holding it with my finger here, and I press as I go rather than trying to put it all on at once. And you can sort of push it back so that it's right in the middle of the gold. Okay, it just makes a beautiful effect. Now let's just do a tiny little bit of stamping on this guy. I think maybe we'll do some dragonflies perhaps here, just to give it a little bit of texture in the background. Our thanks is going to go right over top, so I think we need some there too. Okay, same thing for this one. You're going to pull it off with your take your pick tool, so I can see that it's sort of started right here. Now you could, if you want, put this down with dimensionals. I'm not in this case. On that one that I showed you, I did put it down with dimensionals. Sometimes it's nice not to have dimensionals because you sometimes don't want it to go through the mail and cost you more. And this card is just a little bit fatter just because of the fold. Okay, so we're going to put our thanks on there, and then we will decorate it, I think, just with a little bit of something. So I put my glue on here. Okay, now here's the edges of my cardstock. So I don't want to go over the edges of my cardstock. And I do want it to go in the middle. So I'm just going to, why do I always want to pick up that glue? I'm just going to put my glue right on my card. Okay, and you're thinking, why don't it looks ugly? Well, it does look ugly, but you're not going to see that. Okay, so fold it so it's flat. And then I found this was the best size of rectangle, because you still see a little bit of the gold on both sides. So you're able to get it nicely in the center. Okay, and that's a little bit down from the top, but that's okay. Now, I think maybe for some decoration, how about we can either do butterflies or gilded gems? I think maybe gilded gems. So I'm going to go for a large gilded gem, maybe right up here, and a smaller, the medium-sized one, perhaps down here, and a little guy. You can tell I like the little guys, and maybe I'll put that one off here so that there's one on the back. And that's your card. So we made this one relatively simple. I didn't put any ribbon on it, okay, because I figured that there was a lot of glitz and glamour going on anyway because of all of that gold. So there's that one there. Now let's take it back and look at this guy here. Oh, thank you, Judy. Those gold flowers are ginkgo leaves. Now, of course they are, aren't they? So there's the comparison. So here I used just a little bit of our gray granite satin ribbon. I did put it on with dimensionals, and I also put some of our little, they're not the pebbles, they are the, what are they called? The faux sea glass on there, okay? And then I used a different stamp set here. I used the Tasteful Texture, I think is the name of it, stamp set. And then I use the green as well, so mint macaron. So there's that guy there. there's that guy there. Let me show you another one. So this is another one using the crane paper itself, doing the same kind of thing, the white on top of the gold. And I do have some vellum die cuts from the set of dies. And then I also did the exact same thing as we did with the back. Okay, so this would be a great congratulations card. And I do need to show you the card that actually inspired it was a card that I received from a friend, and she had done it with the scalloped contours. So there's another one that you can do. And again, if you look, they're about the same. You probably can't see. They're about the same size, just a tiny bit smaller perhaps. And both the dies, and then using some of our gorgeous expressions in ink paper. Okay, now here's another idea for the ginkgo leaves. Judy, thank you. And yes, Marilyn says that these dies are gorgeous, and they are, especially when you pair them with the adhesive sheets, which is what is done here. So I use some of my platinum embossing powder, so I make it myself. And this I mix some colors to get to platinum, and then I pulled out some of my platinum. So this is a card for somebody. And here's a tip too. So if you don't want to take a whole sheet of the gold foil and take out the inside of it, you can take little pieces, so just little narrow pieces of the foil paper, and glue them around, and it'll give you something like that. Okay, now I do want to let you know, so this was our YouTube live, but tomorrow, every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, I do a Facebook live too. So this, and a lot of you ladies who are coming to watch are come and watch that. And this is one we're going to be making tomorrow. It's 1 o'clock Mountain Time. So we're in daylight savings now, and you can come and learn how to do some watercolor, and we will make this card too, or something similar, because what you do is it's a very interactive Facebook Live, and you get to play. Okay, so thank you everybody for coming and watching. If you are catching it on the replay, please make sure to leave a comment too. And we will see you again sometime soon, and I will make it on here a lot quicker and on time. Good night, ladies. Bye-bye.